everybody, what's happening? Happy New Year to everybody, okay? I'm back for something a little different. This is my year-end award show, or something along those lines. Either way, I hope you get a kiki, giggle, enjoy, what have you, and we're going to keep it popping into the new year, okay? 2020 will be better than 2019. We're putting it out there into the atmosphere, okay? So, the first category, the unbothered. Who was really and truly unbothered? Was it Little Fizzle Pop? Or was it Omarion? Now, I know you may think that this is easy. It's so easy. But I beg of you to think of a few things. Number one, if Omarion was really unbothered, then why would he go through such lengths to get on a tour solo that you were already on with a group and then release it on the date of your nemesis, Lil Fizzle Pop's birthday? If you were unbothered truly the way you was supposed to be, then you probably wouldn't even cared enough to do that. So were you really unbothered? Lil Fizzle Pop, you said that you were the real unbothered one at the end of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood this past season. Season 6. That was you. You said that. And I beg to differ. Because first of all, this taping of this show happened first. You were, of course, unbothered when you thought you'd snatched April from Omarion, which we really think that that's what was happening. We think that Omarion really stopped fooling with April because April's relationship with Lil Fizzle Pop began to become inappropriate, okay? And he probably has always felt some type of way. But being classy based, as Funky Dineva would say, ensured that Omarion would handle this situation like an adult and not say anything disparaging or negative about either one of them on social media or in interview form. But what he did say was that he wished that they would change the narrative. And then when we think about the last episode of the Bondi Blue Show, where I told y'all about Tiffany saying that she and Lil Fizzle Pop were never in a relationship, but that he would reach out to her to ask her if she was interested in getting that bag, which meant you were not only trying to piss off Moniece by reaching out and trying to get a bag and fake a relationship with someone she had beef with, but also you so flawed as to not even go on these shows with real relationships until, of course, April. So yeah, I don't know if I think those are the actions of someone who is really unbothered. And then to lose that tour, to know you lost that tour. Then to have pictures of April come out that look a tad bit disparaging. Yes. You may be unbothered because you're high out of your mind, but essentially, the need for that much highness means you are in fact bothered. So the award for most unbothered of 2019, Omarion. Omarion couldn't be here to receive this award. He was out in Africa somewhere, sitting on the edge of a cliff, meditating with no shirt on, glistening. So I will take it on his behalf. The next category, it's a favorite. Who was the biggest puss patter of 2019? The nominees are Evelyn Lozada from Basketball Wives. This past season, Evelyn has been called colorist, mean, a bully, and now a puss patter. Okay? During the finale episode of Basketball Wives, she let OG, her castmate, and the rest of us know that everybody wants this thing. All of them want this thing. Okay? And it was harsh. And my puss was scared. and felt the pain from the pat, from the sound. So, yeah, she's definitely nominee for Best Puss Patter of 2019. And the other nominee, April Jones. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. April Jones gave us a sultry, whiny, druggy puss pat. Okay? It was, you know you want this, you know you want this, It was a tap. Not as much of a pat. But because her monkey is always on display, the pat was seen around the world on these internet streets. And that, my friends, won her the nomination for Puss Patter, Best Puss Patter of 2019. And the award goes to Evelyn Non-Motherfucking Factor Lozada. Yes. I've come to this decision because the pat was so strong. The pat was so hard. And any puss that could live through and not be hurt by that type of pattage, well, by God, they deserve an award. Toughest Puss Patter 2019. I'm sure she was here. She would want to thank Shawnee for giving her the opportunity to pat her puss and show y'all what it was hitting for. Okay? Like, I'm sure if she was here, that's what she would say. As I will be doing for all of these awards, I am taking it on her behalf. And the next category for biggest hoax of 2019. And if I need to define hoax, it means something we thought that had happened, but it didn't really had happened. The first nominee is Jussie Smollett. Oh, yes. Jussie really caught the world by storm at the beginning of the year by faking a beating by MAGA men in hats in Chicago in negative 12-degree weather. Okay? In the middle of the winter. And this was supposedly what had happened. The two men rolled up on him, told him he was in MAGA country in the middle of Chicago, and proceeded to beat him up, put a noose around his neck, and leave him for dead. Left my son for dead. Okay? And when we looked at the evidence, what turned out to actually be is that two young men, brothers, who were very dark complected and had on red hats, but it had no MAGA on it, okay? It didn't have that on it. Regular red hats were employed by Jussie Smollett via text message under the guise of a workout plan. Okay, he was paying him for a workout plan. That's what he had said. That's what he wrote on the check. We were supposed to believe that. Some of y'all did. Okay, but ultimately, it was these two young men who really beat him up, and they didn't really beat him up that much. And then he had the noose around his neck when the police came. We saw video footage of that, which also led to you playing a role and trying to show how hurt you was. It was just a lot of things throughout. I mean, it was something new every day. Something changed about the story every day. And then all of a sudden, oh, they said that, but he didn't say that. Nah. We not doing that. Nobody would have said that had he not been the one to put that out first. Get out of here with that, all right, as far as I'm concerned. But Jussie is definitely in the running for the biggest hoax of 2019, okay? Now the next biggest hoax was Carol Sanchez that just happened right here in December. We thought Carol Sanchez got kidnapped by 4 men and pulled into a van on the street at 11:30 at night in New York when her mom was pushed down on the ground out her hip. You know, right before Christmas. This is what you do to your mama. You scare, okay? And it wasn't really 4 masked men that was trying to kidnap her into sex slavery the way we all thought. Oh no, that's not what this was. She had gotten these 4 men to come and pretend to kidnap her so that she can go and live with her 23-year-old gangbanging boyfriend because she didn't want to go back to Honduras with her mom. Yes, there are black people in Honduras. I just was like, really? This was the move? And apparently she turned herself in when she realized how huge the outcry had become and realized maybe she gotten in over her head. Some of y'all didn't want us to talk bad about her, but we did it anyway. We hope the little girl's doing okay. And we hope that she'll be able to forgive us for giving this award to Jussie Smollett. Because at the end of the day, Jussie Smollett kept his lie alive to the point that he was suing the city and it was countersuing and the whole nine, okay? It has been extra the entire time. Then the police chief that gave us the message got arrested for some foolishness at some point after. It's been a whole bunch of stuff that's went down. And I'm not about to go through all of it. But I just know that Jussie wins because Jussie kept the lie alive. And Carol Sanchez, once realizing that this was too much for her to bear, went ahead and gave in and told the truth. We still waiting on Jussie's truth. Have I been saying Jussie this whole time? I hope not. And next, the Me Too Award. Who has been hit the hardest in our community from the Me Too movement? Okay? Now, once I thought about it, I felt like only two people deserve to be the nominees in this situation. That is Bill Cosby and the brother Robert Kelly. Now, Robert Kelly has yet to go on trial, but he is in jail and has been charged and continues to be charged across the nation from different states, including paying a government employee to give him and Aaliyah a marriage certificate and, ignore her fake ID and all of that. Get her a fake ID so that they can get married, and all of that type of stuff. We remember when this happened back in the 9 Okay? So, yeah, he's even being brought up on charges from that right now. The chickens are definitely coming home to roost. Now, he still might have some of his, his little girlfriends hanging around. Jocelyn said they were still together. The stories that she apparently put out online were fake and not her. And she is still with Robert and doing well. However, Ezreal Clary, that girl, I heard she went home. So Jocelyn is there all on her lonesome, waiting for Robert to get out of jail if that ever happens. And then our boy Bill Cosby. Some of us grew up loving Bill, but some of us realized that something was amiss when he thought it was his business to exact his moral judgment on everybody. And a lot of the people out in the industry knew what he was doing at the time, which is why they didn't have much respect for his opinion when he started to talk about the pants sagging or even talking about Eddie Murphy being dirty. Okay? And they also respected his position by not putting him on blast, because I am more than sure they knew and would have had it not been something that would have ruined their careers. Okay? So, Eddie Murphy, Ray Charles, everybody kind of just stayed quiet, and I'm sure because they had their own skeletons and everybody parties in the same circle. So you can't tell on somebody without telling on yourself. Bill Cosby finally got charged for what he did to a young woman, drugging her. She knew she was being drugged and took the drugs herself. But then he had, relations with her when she could not consent. Therefore, he went to jail for rape. Okay? And he's been there thus far. And he has told us that he's not sorry. And he's not apologizing for a damn thing. He's also blind in one eye and 80 some odd years old. And who knows how long he will live. But y'all know evil lasts for a long time. So he might be in jail for the rest of his life. And that might be about 13 years or so. We'll see. They might let him out on good behavior. We hear he's in there, talking to the young men and trying to teach him something. And at the end of the day, when it comes to money, when it comes to taking advantage of opportunities, when it comes to being smart about certain things, I think Bill Cosby has a lot to offer. And anybody that is in jail and has had their life enriched by a conversation with Bill Cosby about anything besides women, I feel like that was a blessing to those men in jail, okay? And at the end of the day, having a TV dad and Bill Cosby in jail, I'm sure that must be pretty cool for some of those people, regardless of how terrible he must be in real life. Like, you can just tell he's one of them ornery, mean-ass old men. But at the same time, sis, I do have to look at the woman that, he was, charged for, hurting, and just wonder why, why would you even drink what he was giving you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my one thing about all of this. But like he said, I ain't sorry for nothing I did. So I just kind of feel like Bill is okay where he is. So I think I'm going to end up giving this award to Robert Kelly. Because, see, Robert didn't think it was going to happen to him. Robert thought it was too late. He even said it on the video. Okay, now, in some respect, I think that was true because people are still going to listen to his music because they have loved his music. And let us not forget about the Surviving R. Kelly series, which has a part 2 that's about to come out on Lifetime as well. I don't know if I'm going to indulge in that, y'all. I feel like there is nothing left to say. I think everything was said in the first 3 parts of Surviving R. Kelly. I watched them. I reviewed them. They're here on my YouTube channel for y'all to watch. If y'all want to get my opinion on that. But it was a huge draw. For my channel, for a lot of people's channels, it was just a huge topic when it happened. And I think it is part of the reason why the downfall has happened. No matter who felt like certain women's stories weren't factual, or they were playing victim when they were adults in the situation. You know, there are a whole bunch of things with that documentary. But I think essentially the story is still the story that Robert takes advantage of young girls who are enamored with his status, his celebrity, his money, his talents. And in that, able to control young-minded girls and hurt them. And has not been brought to justice for that for decades of doing so, you know, just like Bill Cosby. So I think that, you know, they both got hit because Bill is in jail and, you know, that's going to be what it is. Robert, still, we have yet to see what the outcome of this situation is. But ultimately, the fact that he's still in jail to this day, I think says a lot. So the award for biggest hit by Me Too in 2019, Robert Kelly. And category for the biggest homewrecker. Okay, now this category was kind of hard because there are a lot of girls out here that are playing that role. You know what I'm saying? I.e. Arian from Love and Marriage Huntsville. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a bunch of people that could have fit into the criteria for this, but I settled on 2. Nicole Murphy and Jordyn Woods. Jordyn Woods, because her story was so huge that Jada Pinkett and Red Table Talk, you know, Jada Pinkett Smith, let me say that, okay? And in Will Smith, they were, you know, very strong in their feelings about supporting Jordyn and bringing her on the show so that her side can be told, because it seems as if the Kardashians' platform, being as large as it is, was being heard louder than Jordyn's. And they were basically putting her out there like a homewrecker that had ruined the relationship of Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian, which we all know is not true because we know that he's a cheater. Like, he was with his baby mother who was pregnant when he got with Khloe, and then he cheated on Khloe while she was pregnant. This is what he does, and I don't think that we can in any way blame a woman for the actions of a man at the end of the day. Okay, if you can get stole on, then that's the issue that you have. Okay, it is not always the woman, but I feel like women have a responsibility to themselves and to us as women to do our best to not be a part of a problem and to, you know, want good for ourselves, therefore not taking seconds from a man. But, you know, everybody got their different set of morals and ideals about this situation. So, I don't get into that as much. I ain't gonna get into that as much. But I will say this. I feel like Khloe putting all that blame on Jordyn was utterly ridiculous, considering the fact that your man is a cheater and that you yourself have often, regardless to what y'all may be saying, probably have been the other woman and have felt like you can steal a man from a girl. And that's what you wanted to do because that made you feel good about yourself, when ultimately, if he will treat the last one that way, he will treat you that way as well. So it's not as good as it seems to be the woman who is the other woman. Because you'll get played like that too, because that's not about you. That's about him. That's about the type of man that he is. And that he can even allow someone to come in and wreck shop in his situation. Okay? So really, I mean, that's the situation. But I don't think that the Jordyn situation was all that. I feel like the Nicole Murphy situation was all that. First of all, Lila Rashawn and Antoine Fuqua are married. and have children and have been together for years and years and years. And Nicole Murphy knew this, but then got on Wendy Williams and pretended as if she had no idea what their family dynamic was and that they weren't friends, when Lisa Ray came out and said, you was fooling with my ex too, and I know you knew they was cool because we all knew each other. Okay, so yeah, Nicole Murphy kind of came out, laughed in everybody's face like it wasn't a big deal. And, you know, oh, we kissed. That was just a friendship kiss. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. You ain't kissing nobody in the mouth that many times over no friendship. Now, Antoine Fuqua has never said anything, but Lil Rashawn and her husband seem to still be together. I feel like they've been seen out since that situation. So, yeah, they're still together. But Nicole Murphy, we all come to realize, is on the search for somebody to be a benefactor for her. Now that Eddie Murphy and her kids are, you know, adults and she's not getting the same amount of money she was once getting, then her situation with Michael Strahan did not work out. And apparently the situation with Anton Fuqua has not worked out. She is going to be on the prowl to find some old man to give her money and secure her for the rest of her life, because that's what she does. And I do think that that's sad to have to do at this point. However, I don't think that any woman should go around, you know, at her age and status expecting to be with somebody who doesn't have. Like, she's not going to be with the mailman. That's just that. Okay? I'm not mad at you about that. I am mad at you for not having any standards and for feeling like, you know, because you're in shape and, you know, skeletal in the face, that it's okay for you to try to steal somebody's husband from them so that they can become your benefactor. I just feel like there are enough single men out here for you to get one with money. They don't have to be married. I think the award goes to Nicole, because at least Jordan did seem sorry to us. She did apologize over and over again. Chloe just wanted to be mad, and I ultimately feel like it doesn't even matter what, you know, Jordan said, because it was her. Chloe was going to play the victim and act as if she's never been in Jordan's position before, when we know she has. So her grandstanding and online crying and everything was just lost upon me, because I feel like that man was with somebody when y'all got together, and you can say that you didn't know that, but we all know that's a lie. But yeah, y'all, the award is going to Nicole Murphy, because you too old for this. And the next category is if they were black. Let me explain this category. Black folks often have a lot of conversations where we know that if a person in a story had been black, the outcome would have been different. We often have conversations like this when somebody gets shot and killed for, you know, having an expired license, or, you know, reaching for a cell phone, or running away, or whatever. We always say, you know, if they wasn't black, then this. Or if, you know, this person had been black, they got a worser sentence, or a worse sentence. And if this person were black, like Amber Geiger, the first nominee, she may not have been shown so much mercy by the family members and the judge and bailiff during her trial for murdering a man in his apartment. She got hugged, hair stroked, all this emotion poured into her at this man's murder trial. And we all felt like if she were black, that would not have been the case, even though the bailiff and judge and family members were all black. But something about it screamed, we have self-hate. So we are going to mammy this white girl in her tears after she went into somebody's apartment and shot them dead for doing absolutely nothing. First nominee, R.I.P. to Botham Jean. Second nominee is I'm Becky with the college admissions exam. And I would put, you know, the Huff lady on here, Felicity Huffman, or whatever her name is. I like her. I would put her on here, but I felt like she took her lick. She admitted that she was wrong. She pled guilty. She got her little time, her community service, and her fine, and went on her way. That's the way you handle the situation. You take responsibility, you take your lick, you move forward. Regardless to the fact that there's a black woman that's still in jail for just lying about her address so her child could get into a better school. without forgetting that, okay? Because if she were black, then her ass would have been in jail for 20 years behind this, okay? So do y'all understand the category now? If they were black, the situation would have been worse. So the category is if they were black. Amber Geiger and Becky with the college admission scandal. She spent so much money, more than Felicity Huffman, and still decided to drag her feet and not want to take the plea deal. She thought that her lawyers were strong enough to go against the federal government on this front. The Lexington Online says that it has been one of the biggest shocks of the year. Lori Loughlin, who is affectionately known as Aunt Becky from Full House, may be facing 20 years in jail. According to the Justice Department, Loughlin will have to prove her innocence against the charges of conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud, honest services mail and wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. All of the charges were due to the Varsity Blues college bribery scandal uncovered by the FBI. The conspiracy consisted of wealthy parents faking their children's participation in athletic programs, arranging for unwarranted extra time on the SAT, correcting SAT answers, and making donations to a fake foundation as payments for the unlawful services. Personally, for all of these rich people, all of this seems like a slap on the wrist. So I'm trying to understand why Massimo and Lori, Aunt Becky, couldn't go ahead and plead guilty and get on with it, for God's sakes. But they facing 20 years in jail, and they gonna have to figure their situation out, y'all. So yeah, those are the nominees. I think I'm going to give the award to Amber Geiger in this case, because this is something, the college admission scandal is something that's been going on for years. And cops killing black people is also something that's been going on for years. But I think with the Amber Geiger situation, it is so much more nefarious in the case of someone's death, to watch everyone around them treat the murderer, the perpetrator, in such a way that they have this affection that is completely inappropriate in the setting. It is inappropriate for this judge to want to hug her. Have you done that to black women who have been put in jail in your courtroom for lesser offenses? Have you been that way with them? Have you been this understanding? The bailiff black woman. Have you combed the hair of a defendant who was before you because they shoplifted? Have you guys shown this same emotion to people who look like you? And I don't think they have. And that is the biggest issue for me. That it is not only ridiculous in the setting, but the fact that you know that it is some type of mammy or appeasing to white people, or more so the police department, to where these people are okay with how they reacted and the behavior they exhibited in such a sensitive case. I'm disgusted by it. So the award for If They Were Black goes to Amber Geiger. And with absolutely no competition, the biggest trendsetter is our girl Beyonce Knowles. She is definitely getting this award for her homecoming performance for Coachella that went on Netflix and had my family members watching that all day for the holidays, okay? All day, understand me, okay? And it was highly entertaining. It was an OD to us, colored folks, for us colored girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just everything. It was such a great thing to watch, especially if you've been to a HBCU like myself. It definitely gave you the vibe and the feeling to the point where people wanted to appropriate it, like Taylor Swift, who tried to copy it in one of her performances at the MTV Awards show after. I think that's what that was, the MTV Music Awards, where she decided to come out with her little band, and then tried to do the stands and had the whole little majorette fit on and everything, and she was trying to give the vibe, but it was falling on deaf ears, and the rest of us folks were looking at her like, girl, I know you did not think that you was about to copy that and it was gonna work. You don't have the swagger. Taylor, do what you do. Don't do what B does, because only B can do what B does. I mean, in most of the situations, that's why she don't have no competition, and I thought about this hard. Who else has trendsetted in such a way? Who else? I couldn't think of anyone. Maybe you can. I couldn't. These are my awards. Okay? So, biggest trendsetter for 2019 with the homecoming Netflix special performance at Coachella, Beyonce Knowles, or Knowles Carter. Beyonce. And in the New Year, New Me category, okay, the two nominees are Wendy Williams, No Hunter, okay, for getting entirely brand new and telling us all the business versus the way she used to be before her separation from her husband, Kevin Hunter. Everybody was finding out about it and she was reacting to it. Really, Kevin? Really, Kevin? Like, Wendy has been definitely a new person ever since this story came out, and she has decided to divorce Kevin Hunter, and she has been out here partying with the celebrities, living her best life, getting cool with Nene, hanging with Black China, going to the parties in the Daisy Dukes, you know, just out here doing the most and living her best life. Yes, okay, giving everything, telling y'all how she feel about it. Okay, speaking the truth about Kevin and his new baby moms. That's where I draw the line. When you get somebody pregnant and bring another dependent onto my bills, I think not. She got the car repossessed. Okay, probably got the ring took back too. At the end of the day, Wendy won, okay, for the new year, new me, just in her own life. Now, is she winning against Nicki Minaj, who quit rap this year, y'all? That's right, quit. Said she was done. Okay, she wants to focus on the family and her marriage to Kenneth Petty, the felon. And I know she don't want us to bring that up, but just like we can't bring you up without calling you a rapper, we can't bring him up without mentioning his lengthy history of going to jail and, you know, stuff he's been charged with. And it's just sad because I think a lot of us, you know, we wanted you to get with somebody on your level as to not have to have a Mary J. Blige Kendu situation happening in a couple of years. Okay, now at the end of the day, I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that their love is real. I know she says that they were together when she didn't have anything, but that doesn't mean anything. There's no way that he had the same access as she does. Even if it's on a drug dealer level, it wasn't ever going to be on the level that hers is on. So I did feel like it was a step down and maybe kind of a thirsty attempt to have something that she really wants. But at the end of the day, I love Nicki, and I can't be mad at her for doing what she wants to do to make herself happy. And if that's, you know, settling down and working on having children and being married to Kenneth Petty and not doing music, that's fine too. Okay, I do think eventually she will come back out. Like, I don't think this is it. I think this is a Jay-Z, I retired, but in like a year or so, I'm gonna come back. I think that's what this is, and that's fine. You know, if that's what it is, great. But if it's a serious, I'm not doing music again, I will be highly surprised. Yeah, that'll be me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be so surprised. But I still feel like all the ways around, she's still screaming on people on Queen Radio when she feel like it. Still keeping all of the negative things that people say about her in a list in a diary on the side of the bed. You know, so I think that in some ways she may still be the same in a way. So I think I'm going to give the New Year, New Me awards to Wendy, just because I was shocked at how open she's been versus how she was very tight-lipped for years about her own issues, but didn't have any problems talking about everybody else's. Well, now she's telling hers and yours. All right, y'all. And for the best fried chicken sandwich. All right, y'all. So we've tested this out a couple of times. And the nominees are Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and if you have it, Cane's. Lyric and I have tested out all three of these sandwiches and have had an in-depth conversation yesterday about which one of these sandwiches we thought was the overall winner. And I feel like we're gonna have to go with the Cane sandwich, okay? And that is because the chicken is always fresh, the crisp is always crunchy, and the honey mustard sauce that you get to come on the sandwich is utterly delectable. And the bread is very appetizing. Now, the ride home life, you tend to have to put it in the oven to get it back crisp. But that's the case with all of these sandwiches. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Or should I say the chicken sandwich crumbles. Cane's, if you have it, is definitely the winner in my book for best chicken sandwich. But if all you have at home is a Popeyes and a Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna have to give the award based off of so much consistency to Chick-fil-A. And I know what you're saying, but the Popeye sandwich is seasoned better. It's crunchier. It has the pickle. It has the spicy sauce on it. And if you get it from the right Popeyes, from the right set of people that's going to give you your sandwich piping hot and you eating it in a car while you driving, so you're not wasting no time on the ride home, letting that crispiness and that hotness, move on. You know what I'm saying? Go away, dissipate till you got, a soggy, kind of not cold but not hot sandwich, with wilted lettuce sometimes, depending on the sandwich. But I think that Popeyes might win off initial taste, but that's only if you can consistently get it that way. Because in our experience, you go to 3 different Popeyes, you get damn near 3 different sandwiches. You go to Chick-fil-A, the sandwich is the same. No matter which Chick-fil-A you go to, the sandwich is the same. But for me, the crisp is not on point. The taste is, but the crisp is not to my liking. So Popeyes wins for me off taste, okay? But off longevity, off probably healthiness, and also freshness, I think I might go ahead and give it to the Chick-fil-A. So ultimately, the best chicken sandwich goes to Cane's. And if you don't have Cane's, Chick-fil-A or Chick-fil-A. Biggest snitch. Oh, yes. Biggest snitch nominees are Selena Powell, the Cat Stacks of 2019. She's been linked to Offset, Dwight Howard, Fetty Wap, and just recently, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Now, it's not so recent because rumors of them having linked up came out kind of sort of at the beginning of the year. But I wasn't really paying attention because I don't pay attention to thirst traps like Selena Powell. All you want to do is have sex with people, put them on blast for clout, and to try to parlay that into money, and you don't even be that cute. You're not even safe with your body. You're having unprotected sex with all of these men that are having unprotected sex with all of the girls they have sex with, and you're talking about it on YouTube like it's cool, like it's the thing to do. So yeah, no, I don't champion, and I damn sure don't give that type of stuff airtime. But since Snoop's wife, Boss Lady, decided to send some subliminals on Instagram and then act as if that wasn't what she was doing, but then had ho-ho-hos on her t-shirt. Okay, about, trash them ho-ho-hos or something along those lines. Anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. That she was saying something, and then when people was like, what you saying? She was like, I ain't saying nothing. Okay, so, yeah. Selena Powell is definitely causing waves. I even heard that Lil Duval had some negative things to say about the young lady. But ultimately, I feel like, why would you seek out a young lady who is known for doing this and then have sex with her and sniff cocaine off her bosom, allegedly? Why would you do this, Snoop Dogg? This makes no sense. You too damn old to be this stupid. And all the rest of y'all too, spectacular. Now, the Fetty Wap situation I heard was true, but I think the Offset story and the Waka Flocka story weren't true. So she lied and said that her baby was Offset's baby, but then she admitted that that was a lie, and she was bored. So that's what she decided to do that day. And these are the people that y'all are making famous these days. Okay. So, biggest snitch, I want to say Selena Powell is my nominee because she's just out here telling all the business. But sometimes the business is not true, therefore making her lose points in the category. The next nominee is Tekashi 6ix9ine for telling on his whole squad. Okay? And also telling on the people that he employed to put a hit out on Chief Keef. It was a lot that went down and he told it all. And I'm not about to get into it because his video is long as it is. And we all know the story. He was snitching on everybody for days. And then he ended up getting basically 2 years in jail, 13 months time served, 11 more to go probably. And if he's on good behavior, he'll get out soon and then be under police protection or witness protection. And we'll see how long that lasts because, dudes like him can't stay low key for long. They got to be seen. That's what they do. That's why he was doing everything on camera like an idiot. I hope one day you children will learn to stop doing the legal shit and then recording it and putting it on the internet as if the feds aren't watching. What are you? Like, what are you, missing a brain cell? What's wrong with you? Like, you telling on yourself. You're documenting and telling on yourself. He was on the phone with the conversation with Chief Keef. I saw that video. I mean, I was like, this nigga is an idiot. How do you not expect to get caught? But anyway, y'all, we see how it all worked out. And Tekashi's gonna be all right, supposedly. But he was telling the truth when he was snitching on everybody. So I think I'm going to give the award to Tekashi 6ix9ine for the biggest snitch of 2019. I hope you stay safe out here, Daniel. Next is the biggest friend or the biggest foe. Y'all, Malik Yoba or Gina Rodriguez. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Gina Rodriguez, Jane the Virgin, if you don't know. Okay, she's a television actress, she's Latina, and she has had a few projects with black women in which she's had to do interviews and have conversations, and she seems to not like the conversation to be about black people exclusively. She wants everybody to be included in on the conversation. She wants a Spanish Wakanda. Okay, she wants a Latin Wakanda. I'm sure that might go on in the Amazon or something. Okay, let somebody figure that out for them. I'm not mad about that, but I do understand the overall feeling. And then recently, she's singing the lyrics to an Outkast song and says the N-word, and everybody got upset about that. And we just don't understand. We ask y'all not to say this one thing, whether that is in a song or in conversation, and you can't seem to respect it. You're not black. Your daddy's not dark skinned. You know, there are a lot of things that are happening here. And then you cry, but then you still continue to make these same what seem like mistakes. So is it you being, you know, insensitive and feeling as if you don't have to respect us until somebody tries to internet smack you? You know what I'm saying? And that's when you want to get right in your emotions about it. Is that what you want me to think about you? Because I like Jane the Virgin. I'm not sure how I feel about Gina Rodriguez. But I'm also the type of person that is able to separate the artist from the art. I don't have to like you in order to like binge watching your show. Like, I grew up in a time period where you didn't know the personal lives of everybody who you enjoyed in a movie or in an album or in a book. Like, you didn't have to like every person personally in order to appreciate their artistry. And so I will continue to watch whatever I want to watch. But ultimately, were you a bigger friend or foe? And therefore, Gina Rodriguez is a nominee. Now, Malik Yoba, on the other hand, was trying to be, I suppose, an ally to trans folks by coming out and saying that he likes to date trans women. Well, then a trans woman came out and said that when she was a prostitute at the early ages of, I believe, 12 or 13, that she was paid for by Malik Yoba and did some things in the car a few times. He had a black Jeep back in the day. He would come around the same little area, make the same little block looking for her. Okay, this is something that he did, and apparently people in the industry knew this was something that he did. Well, now since he saw the video that was alleged, we all had the story confused. It was supposed to be about the young man who allegedly killed himself because he was being bullied about having relationships with trans women. And ultimately what we found out is that he was abusive to his trans girlfriend. And so he did kill himself, but he wasn't innocent. And even the trans woman, I watched her talk about him, and she still had love for him, but the truth was the truth, and he abused her. And, I feel like it still is sad, but it's a different story than Malik was telling. Okay, so he had to come out and correct that situation. But then he goes on the Breakfast Club with some trans women and another gay guy, I forgot his name, and they have this conversation that just makes us even more confused than we were before about, borders and what people like to be called and what they consider to be male and female and the difference between sex and gender, which I think they didn't really have a firm understanding of, because I don't know how you gonna tell me that, the doctor just made up what your gender is, when no, people see what your sex is and then they apply that to a gender. Okay, that is what they do, and people don't always fit into those boxes. Rightfully so, they should be able to float outside of those boxes all that they want to. But at the end of the day, the situation is still the situation. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But Malik Yoba was using these people's story and their situation to grandstand and make himself look good and to make himself look all educated about it. And I think it was about to come out anyway, so maybe he was coming out the way he was as an advocate to try to curtail the negative aspect of it. But ultimately, I think he made himself look like a fool. I think he made himself look ignorant and insensitive, and as if he was trying to use, trans people's struggle as a way to make himself look good. And it just wasn't cool at all. And it changed how I viewed him as a person. I've always really liked Malik Yoba. And to see him in that capacity, it made me pay attention to the asshole jerk factor that I had picked up on, but wasn't really kind of, you're playing a character. So how am I supposed to attribute that to your real personality? But there are times when I feel like it's something that I've picked up on in the characters that he plays. And it is definitely a part of his makeup. The thing that really should be the cusp of this story is that trans women, specifically Black and Latino trans women, are out here being killed and nobody does anything about it, as if, you shouldn't care who they are because they're trans people. And I think that is the most ridiculous thing, the most terrible thing, to not feel safe and to feel as if when something happens to you, you can't go and tell anybody because either you won't be believed or who you are will be picked apart in such a way to make you look like some type of demon or bad person. And I think that's ridiculous. And I think that that's what needs to be fixed. And that is the issue. I feel like he was grandstanding and he showed us who he was in a way that it was not a positive. And it took focus away from the important part of it, which is that people need to be protected and trans people need to be protected too. I'm going to give it to Malik Yoba because I felt like he was so outwardly trying to stand on somebody else's struggle, whereas I feel like Gina is poking a bear and then crying about it, which is not to me as bad as trying to make yourself look good when you actually low down in a situation taking advantage of child prostitution. And you guys, just a posthumous sad to see you go category for Nipsey Hussle and Kim Porter. Specifically them. I know we lost other people, but I felt like their deaths were the ones that caught us off guard, just by surprise so much. Nipsey Hussle was just hitting his stride and doing so much great things, so many great things in his community and affecting change in a positive way and putting out his music and having a family and just being in this really wonderful sweet spot in his life, and to be taken from the people who love him and who he affects positively over some foolishness and some just petty hate. It's always hate. It's always you jealous of somebody. Instead of trying to figure out a way to make your own shit pop, you trying to take somebody else out because you so mad that they have it and you don't. And that's such a terrible way to live your life. And if you realize that their life is not your life and you need to work on making the things that you bring into this world pop, then there's not really much patience I can have for somebody that will hurt someone because of that feeling. Because I feel like we all at one point or another want something that other people have. And we don't let that turn us into a hateful person that wants to harm someone because of it. So, that was so painful. And then for Kim Porter to get sick and have pneumonia and be gone like that from her girls and from her kids, it's just been, a tough year as far as losing people who we felt like we had so much more time with. And everybody always had such beautiful things to say about Kim, how sweet she was. And to watch their family have to continue on publicly with this, and even how it affected Diddy, even though I felt like he took her for granted and he admitted that while she was alive, that does not mean that he is not hurt or, severely, traumatized from losing her. So yeah, it's been very sad this year. So just a posthumous sad to see you go category for the two of them. R.I.P. Kim Porter and Nipsey Hussle. And y'all, these are the last two categories. I hope y'all are enjoying this long ass video. Okay, so biggest blow up of the year. Who blew up the biggest? All right, there were a lot of people, but ultimately I came to two people, Lizzo and Megan Thee Stallion. Both have, rapped and shook their asses into our hearts. Okay, I love Megan Thee Stallion. I loved her album. I think it had a slow start, but once people got on to her and found out who she was and we saw her perform, and she does really good performances. She does her choreography. She twerks on beat. You know, her body is her own. She's tall. She's a stallion. She can rap. She's smart. She seems to be a really nice person and sweet, and she's giving everybody liquor and being the flirty girl, and, you know, just living her best life and doing so well even after the passing of her mom, just as her career started to take off, who, you know, was also her manager. So I feel like Megan has definitely blown up. I don't think her fame is to the same level as Lizzo, because Lizzo was white people famous in a way, and even though Megan is, because all the little young white girls know about her, I don't know if it's the same as Lizzo, and, you know, Lizzo being on so many different commercials and soundtracks. We still hear Megan Thee Stallion on stuff, but it's normally black people stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think their famous is a little different. But Lizzo has blown up and put out a great album and has some great performances. Her SNL performance with Eddie Murphy there was amazing to me. The strippers, you know, the dancers of different sizes, her performance, the suit, like, you know, the back was sheer and you can just see all the lumps and bumps and everything. Girl, do you. It was the performance outfit. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Like, everything. I thought both of her performances were amazing. I think she gives you everything as an artist. But as a person, I am starting to wonder what is happening eternally for her, because I feel like, you know, her having her ass out at that basketball game was completely inappropriate and uncalled for. Like, kids are at a basketball game. I don't think that's the time or place, no matter your size, for you to have your entire ass out in front of other people's kids. I just don't think that's okay. You know, it's a lack of cool. To me, it's a lack of self-respect. I don't care how women feel about showing their bodies off. I think in some way, if you have to constantly be showing somebody your ass to make you feel confident about yourself, that shows a lack of said confidence, because that's not appropriate. It's also not really legal. And I feel like a normal person might not have been able to do what she did. Then she went and shook her ass on Chick-fil-A counter. And I was like, what's going on here? You know, I think that was her, right? Was that her? Because I know everybody thought it was her who jumped on that table and fell, but that was not her. So it's been like a lot going on with her that hasn't been as positive as Megan Thee Stallion, but then Megan Thee Stallion has the chipmunk smile, you know, like, you know, you can just see the top of the gums right here when she be smiling, and, you know, people making fun of her for that. You know, she had the little breakup, but she was like, nigga ain't paying attention to him, whatever. So, you know, it's not like it's been like all great, you know, kind of like a slow start, a little bit staggered a little bit when that first album came out, but I think she's done great. So ultimately, I think I'm going to give Lizzo the biggest blow up, because I do think that her fame is bigger right now, but I definitely still fucks with Megan Thee Stallion the long way. Definitely. Okay, and I also want to give a little honorable mention to Doja Cat, because her Hot Pink album is absolutely everything. And I feel like I listened to her music and I don't think I was really listening until Rules came out. When Rules came out, it made me really like go back and listen to Tia and Tamara and Moo and Go to Town, and listening to those songs again, it clicked for me, and I was like, oh, this is my type of shit. Like, I like eclectic type of R&B music. I like music that takes from different genres, and I feel like she takes from different genres in a way. Definitely in a really good way. Y'all can hear I'm losing my voice. I just got one more video. This has been the longest video ever. But I really hope y'all enjoyed it anyway, because I thought it would be cute to do. But this is not my last category. But yeah, just honorable mention to Doja Cat. But the last one is most invasive moment of 2019. And the nominees are T.I. for his hymen check-in of his daughter Deja, and Alexis Sky in the Cucumber Challenge. Okay, so for monetization, as much as we can get it, I'm obviously not going to put up like, you know, exact photos of these situations. T.I. told us on a podcast that he would go, while his daughter was like 15, 16, 17, he would go with her after her birthday to the doctor so that he can have a check that she had to approve of in order to make sure that her hymen was still intact. And even though he was made abreast by the doctor of the fact that Deja's, hymen, Dejanay, whatever her name is, I'm sorry, baby, I just be forgetting sometimes, my memory is bad, that those things can be broken, horseback riding, sports, fall off a bike, anything, you know what I'm saying? You could have have fell off the bed and it hit the wrong, angle and poop, blood. So yeah, I just kind of felt like we all know that's ignorant of him. Some people felt like that made him a good dad. I feel like that makes him controlling and ridiculous. It is my experience that once girls hit puberty, their dads back off of their vag and that becomes mom's territory for the most part, if they're able to do that, but I just kind of felt like this was completely unnecessary, disgusting. He did not need to share that. Made that poor girl leave off social media for a little while because he had embarrassed her so much and people were trying to buy her virginity. Just completely invasive, inappropriate ridiculousness. And the fact that the women that are in his life allow him to get away with such behavior is just so ridiculous, and just shows how misogynistic he is and how the women in his life let him continue to be that way because they probably in some way feel like those things are appropriate, even though they say that they don't. So yeah, T.I. Then Alexis Sky at this party in which a lot of other celebrity men, including Lil Boosie, was there recording her performing sexual acts with a cucumber on some porn stars. And at first, we didn't know what was going on. All we know is we were seeing something completely inappropriate on our timelines, and we didn't understand why we were seeing it. Or you saw Cucumber Challenge, and you saw girls doing the most like Akbar V, and you were like, why is this happening? Why are y'all doing this? This is embarrassing. Save this for your man. Girl, you got kids. Why is you online doing that? And I know a lot of y'all thought that nothing was wrong with that, and that's fine and everything. But ultimately, at some point, things get out of hand, and I think things got out of hand. I think seeing those things online about yourself, especially like if you're sitting in the room and your mom is watching that, if you're embarrassed, then you probably shouldn't do something like that. If you can imagine your mom watching that and you being embarrassed. Now, if you're not embarrassed, something's wrong with the dynamic between you and your mother, because that's terrible and you should be embarrassed. So yeah, that's just my, grandstanding for the moment. I'm just saying, like, that's just terrible. And I don't care if I'm on a soapbox about it. Don't be out here doing that. Save that for people who you're actually going to do that on. And don't let them record you, because then they'll put it online and embarrass the shit out of you. And it's not a good feeling, no matter who you are. And no matter how you try to act like it's okay, it's not. So yeah, I mean, and the fact that it was a woman who was doing it and didn't see anything wrong with it, and she has a little girl that's sick somewhere, and you just wish that she was, worrying about that instead of being online sticking cucumbers in girls. Like, it was just not okay. But yeah, y'all, out of these two, I'm gonna have to give it to T.I. because ultimately the porn stars were fine with being sodomized on camera, and that's none of my business then. Just don't have it on my timeline. But besides that, T.I. and his daughter situation, and him actually having to say something after that about it, which made it, doubly invasive. Like, first you're doing it, then you're telling everybody about it. So yeah, we're gonna give the award for being misogynistic and invasive 2019 to T.I. But yeah, y'all, that was the award show. I know this was probably long, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. I keep saying that because I really do. I hope that y'all share it, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.